This evening we are honored to have Mr. Joshua Enck as our guest speaker. Mr. Enck is a 1994 graduate of Manheim Central High School. Following high school, Mr. Enck became the president and chief creative officer of Sight and Sound Ministries Incorporated, one of the nation's largest entertainment company of its kind, drawing nearly 1.5 million people annually to its various locations. Mr. Enck is responsible for spearheading Sight and Sound's unique creative process for current show productions to future developments beyond the stage. In his role, Mr. Enck has written, produced, and directed 6 original stage productions, including the 2008 record-breaking production of Jesus, which was seen by over 1 million people worldwide. As a producer and director, Mr. Enck has had the opportunity to record musical stories in international studios, as well as the most famous of all, the legendary Abbey Road in London. Over the last decade, Mr. Enck has pioneered Sight and Sound's expansion from stage to screen, bringing his passion for film and theater to reach the masses. This year marks his 25th anniversary at Sight and Sound. Mr. Enck has prepared the following video message to address our senior class.
Hello, class of 2020. My name is Joshua Enck, a fellow Baron from the class of 1994. I know, a long time ago, right? But before you tune out this gray-bearded guy that you never met, please allow me the honor to inspire you on one of the most important days of your life. Although this is not how you imagined your graduation to be, it does not take away from the monumental chapter this is in your story. More than any other class in recent history, you know what adversity is all about. And yet here you are. You've persevered. Congratulations. But outside adversities will not be the most threatening challenges in your life. Your biggest challenges will be in here and in here. Abraham Lincoln said, "Nearly all men can withstand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, give him power." Now, character, it doesn't just happen overnight, believe me. In the back of my yearbook, you'd see that my aspirations were rather, I guess you could say, shallow. We're going to skip the whole being a bartender with John Phillips in Vail, Colorado bit and just jump to the one that says, seeing my name up on the big screen. Since the moment my parents bought our very first VHS video camera, all I wanted to do was make movies or be in movies. When I'd watch people watching my cheesy little films, I discovered there's a power in storytelling. With character, conflicts, and underscore, I can influence people to laugh, cry, and even cheer. And I'll never forget the reaction of my favorite high school teacher of all time, Mr. Keller, who gave us an assignment in his creative writing class. I chose to make a war movie called Torn Apart. As the credits rolled and the lights of the classroom turned on, Mr. Keller walked right up to me, his eyes wet with tears. He grabbed me by the shoulders, looked square into my eyes and said, "You have a gift, man. Use it." And I felt something ignite deep inside of me that set my imagination soaring. The endless stream of movie ideas would keep me awake at night, and nearly every school assignment became another adventure in storytelling. The town of Manheim became my backlot, and my best friends, movie stars. Now, I don't know if making movies with my buddies kept me out of trouble or got me into trouble, but regardless, I had one of the best childhoods a dreamer like me could have asked for. But then I graduated, and something happened. With my buddies off to college, I found myself drifting without direction. And the narrative that I told myself was, in the real world, you get a real job. To be a man, you lay down your silly hobbies and get to work. Well, I drank that Kool-Aid and assumed being a storyteller was for the lucky few who have connections in New York or LA, so I gave up dreaming and I started working. And that thing that used to keep me awake at night, that thing that moved my teachers, family, and friends to tears and cheers, that one thing that made me feel the most alive, went silent and lay dormant. And making movies seemed childish to me, and I wasn't a child anymore. I mean, who gets to do what they love for a living anyway, right? For this Foundry Town kid, I believed the lie that answered no one. Fortunately for me, I had parents who continued carrying the torch that Mr. Keller had lit. They, along with my incredible wife, encouraged me with a different narrative that dislodged the lie that said you can't do what you love for a living. With their belief in me, along with a series of life-changing events, most notably my newly found faith in God, my eyes began to reopen, and I asked myself a new question. What if I was given this gift of storytelling for a reason? And what if that reason had less to do with me and everything to do with others? What if it wasn't about me becoming famous, but instead it's about moving people's hearts through the power of story? My eyes were open to the critical role storytellers have had in this world. Who are the ones that design the banners we pledge to? Who are the ones who write the anthems that inspire a nation? Why was it said that the pen is mightier than the sword? The reason I'm talking to you here right now is because I decided I was going to dream again, and I began pursuing something greater than me. And instead of striving to get my name up on the big screen, I've chosen to represent a name above my own. That's my story. Your story is young, and a new chapter is being written right now. Listen, there's a purpose and a plan for you, every single one of you, and it's rooted in a natural gift and ability deep inside of you. It was there when you were born, and it'll be there when you die. And most people, they never acknowledge it's there, or if they do, they deny its significance. But I believe it's the key that unlocks life. And if you quiet the noise around you, you'll find it. As you launch from this moment, yes, the sky is totally the limit, and I want each of you to aim high, shoot for the stars, but just know, not every star is meant for you. And you'll be the happiest and most fulfilled when you acknowledge and honor that core gift and ability inside of you. And there is nothing more attractive to the world than someone who knows who they are and knows who they're not, and uses their talents with humility. For me, as a daily reminder to remain humble, I have a quote from President Reagan in my office which says, "There is no limit to what you can accomplish if you don't care who gets the credit." So what keeps you awake at night? What makes you feel alive and sets your imagination soaring? For some of you, you already know what that is. For others, it might take a little while until all those stars align. Look, when I graduated, I never thought in a million years that I'd use the gift of storytelling at Sight and Sound, producing and directing biblical musicals, and leading the most amazing team on the planet, and loving every second of it. In my yearbook, it wasn't about being a famous Hollywood actor that drove me. It was the power story had on people's lives. And when I got my priorities right, that passion, along with the gift in me to tell stories that mattered, made way for my future. At the beginning of this speech, I quoted Abraham Lincoln. "Nearly all men can withstand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, give him power." Before Lincoln liberated an entire race of people, he himself was first liberated by acknowledging his God-given gifts and abilities, igniting his life purpose, and then choosing to use his power not to serve his own interests, but the interests of humanity. Graduating class of 2020, because of the unique way in which you are entering the world, you've already been given a platform of influence. When you combine that with the gift inside of you, you will find yourself wielding tremendous power. How will you choose to deploy it? Will you use it to exalt yourself, or will you use it to inspire the world? Knowing the town you come from, I'm convinced it'll be the latter. Congratulations, class. It's time for you to leave the hallowed halls of Mannheim Central and start writing your next chapter.